Maybe you infiltrated his mind. He invaded your mind, right? Is it that big of a leap to suggest you somehow wound up in his? Like Freddy Krueger's boiler room.
Freddy Krueger?
He's a super burned up dude with razors for fingers, and he kills you in your dreams.
Dustin, seriously?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horror film callbacks in Stranger Things Season 4.
And then I would say, Hellraiser is a big one. I mean, Pinhead really freaked us out when we were younger. And so we really wanted to imbue Vecna with some Pinhead vibes.
For this list, we're looking at the genre references and inspirations from the latest season of the Netflix series. If you're not caught up with Volume 1, warning, there are major spoilers ahead. Did you recognize any of these callbacks? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. The Silence of the Lambs. After they research more about the infamous Victor Creel, Robin and Nancy hatch a plan to go undercover to interview him at Penhurst Mental Hospital.
These are our gardens. Beautiful, aren't they?
When they arrive, some of the scenery is reminiscent of Teddy and Chuck's arrival at Ashcliff Hospital in Shutter Island. As the guards lead Nancy and Robin down to Victor's cell, he gives them instructions similar to what Clarice Starling receives when she goes to meet Dr. Hannibal Lecter for the first time.
He told you, don't get near the glass.
Yes, he did, Clarice Starling.
Agent Starling's walk to Lecter's cell at the end of the corridor was just as chilling as when the two grad students approached Creel. And if you'll notice, his cell also looks rather similar to Lecter's.
We're here because we believe you. And because we need your help.
Number 9. The Amityville Horror. This season gave us the classic setup to a haunted house tale. An optimistic family moves into a new house that's too good to be true.
What'd I tell you?
Wow. This is amazing. It looks like a fairy tale. A dream.
It doesn't take long for the weird stuff to start happening. Flickering lights, dead animals, terrifying visions, and an overall sense of dread. Victor believed the paranormal occurrences were the work of a demon nesting in their home.
I suppose all evil must have a home.
Nancy and Robin read an old newspaper stating that Victor even hired a priest to exorcise the demon, but it only angered the spirit, similar to Father Delaney's attempts to bless the Lutz's new home.
Get out!
Of course, in Chapter 7, we learn this was Henry using his growing telekinetic powers and mentally tormenting his family. Number 8. The Ring. Most of the horror films that influence the Duffer Brothers are from the 70s, 80s, and sometimes early 90s. But this season, we noticed elements of The Ring, the American remake of Japan's Ringu, incorporated into the story.
And these visions, they kept on getting worse and worse until eventually everything ended.
Vecna's curse.
The first Vecna victim we see die is Chrissy Cunningham. It's a gruesome sight that poor Eddie had to witness twice, the second time being when it happened to Patrick. Their bodies are snapped from the inside out, with their broken faces frozen like the victims who watched the tape.
I saw her face.
As Max figures out, those under the curse of Vecna have the same symptoms, and once they see the clock, they have roughly 24 hours before they die. Both Samara and Vecna are vengeful spirits, and apparently like to give death a deadline.
7 days.
Number 7. Firestarter. Secret government agencies. Experiments on superpowered children. A young girl wielding remarkable and dangerous abilities. Nosebleeds. Yes, this Stephen King story about young Charlie McGee and her pyrokinetic abilities has been a reference point for the series since the beginning.
Let us work together again. You and I. Daughter. And Papa.
But Season 4 delves further into Eleven's origins at the Hawkins lab, showing the other children used as test subjects in Dr. Martin Brenner's experiments. We find out later that friendly, orderly Peter Ballard is actually Henry Creel, aka One, aka Vecna.
Why do you still hope?
Because I believe in you.
It is time you are free from this hell.
John Rainbird also pretended to be a friendly orderly at the shop, befriending Charlie under false pretenses.
It'll be quick. And he'll be looking at her face at the time. You will know her power.
Number 6. The Evil Dead. We've known Jonathan Byers was a fan of the Sam Raimi flick, but this season goes beyond a poster. Vecna gives Chrissy a twisted version of her mother with a deadite-like white-eyed stare and demonic voice.
Huh? Just loosening this up for you, sweetheart. You're going to look absolutely beautiful.
Fred has a similar experience with a cop stationed at the trailer park, having a terrifying vision of the officer berating him for a past accident. Deadites love to taunt the living by playing on their emotions.
Baby, there was no accident. I drove up that bridge on purpose.
To get away from you.
Just seeing someone you care about turn into a Deadite is horrifying and heartbreaking. But the undead tricksters always take it several steps further, like when Chrissy's mom makes hurtful comments about her body.
Chrissy? Did you hear me? Open the goddamn door, Chrissy! Open the door, Chrissy, or I'm gonna gut you like the fat pig that you are!
Number 5. It. Pennywise influenced both the Duffer Brothers and actor Jamie Campbell Bower when creating Season 4's new big bad.
You belong here with me.
You're not really here.
Oh, but I am Max.
Vecna definitely isn't a dancing clown gleefully terrifying children, but he terrorizes Hawkins' teens with visions of their worst fears, just like Pennywise tricks the young residents of Derry.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true!
And just as Pennywise unhinges his jaw to consume a fearful victim, Vecna uses his long hand/tentacles to connect with his guilt-ridden victim.
What do you want?
I want you to join me.
Eyes are another noticeable similarity in this eating process, as well as the eyes of their entranced victims as they float in the air. This season takes the Hawkins crew to the home of Victor Creel, a creepy old house much like the one on Neibolt Street, both residing in cursed towns and connected to otherworldly beings. Number 4. Hellraiser. Another major point of reference for Vecna was Pinhead, the lead Cenobite from Clive Barker's Hellraiser. As humans turned monsters, Vecna and Pinhead have parallel earthly origins, becoming physically mangled when they entered an extra-dimensional realm. Pinhead hails from a hell dimension somewhat like the Upside Down. Both sentient beings were disillusioned with life and developed a distaste for humanity.
You see, humans are a unique type of pest, multiplying and poisoning our world, all while enforcing a structure of their own.
They revel in the suffering of others, using it to enhance their power, or in Pinhead's case, pleasure.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
Jamie Campbell Bower used a deep, menacing tone for Vecna's voice, which was equally chilling as Doug Bradley's portrayal of the Hell Priest.
Don't cry, Chrissy. It's time for your suffering to end.
And both baddies love delivering those ominous one-liners.
We have such sights to show you.
Number 3. Carrie. Teenagers can be cruel, something poor Carrie White knew all too well. This season, we see 11 relive memories of her time at the Hawkins lab, where she was singled out by older test subjects.
How'd that feel? Did you like that?
In the present day, she encounters her own Chris Hargensen at her new school in California, who torments her in and outside of school. Mean girl Angela and her posse publicly humiliate Eleven in the middle of the roller rink.
Wipe out!
Unfortunately, she was covered in a chocolate milkshake and not pig's blood. But much like Carrie at the prom, 11 has her breaking point and violently retaliates.
Angela!
Angela's lucky that 11 didn't currently have her telekinetic powers, because this moment of revenge could have easily gone down differently. Number 2. Halloween. Michael Myers has been referenced a few times throughout the series, so it's no surprise that the decidedly darker 4th season would mention the masked boogeyman. While trapped in the hellish version of the cemetery, Max also walks by a headstone that looks like it's marked Myers. But before that, Eddie's Uncle Wayne tells Nancy about the Hawkins urban legend of Victor Creel.
He lost his mind, killed his whole family, kids and wife, took their eyes. Cut him right out.
Believed to have killed his family, Creel's been locked up in Penhurst Mental Hospital since the 1950s. But the recent murder of Chrissy Cunningham has Wayne thinking that he could have escaped.
Like that, what's his name, the white mask, and killed the babysitters.
Michael Myers?
Yeah, Michael Myers. You ask me, Victor's like that. He's a real boogeyman.
The unstoppable Michael Myers has broken out of and into many a place, including hospitals. Even though the real culprit has a very different backstory, a madman going around killing teenagers is a classic horror premise.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Jaws. Steve's pulled under the water, but not by a shark. Scream. Police and media swarm the crime scenes of murdered teens.
Everyone wants to know the same thing. How can so many tragedies befall a once peaceful town?
The Exorcist. It was the season of satanic panic and body horror. Candyman. Entrancing vengeful spirits.
What do you want?
I want you to join me.
Poltergeist. Lights, static, portal.
There we go.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. With the Nightmare franchise as a muse, Season 4 brought a new level of horror to the series. The Duffer Brothers even cast the Dream Master himself, Robert Englund, as Victor Creel, whose son Henry later transforms into the newest interdimensional threat.
Nightmares. Waking, living nightmares.
Vecna shares many traits with Freddy Krueger, including one hand with claws and using fear and past trauma to immerse his victims into a nightmarish hellscape. Both mind-invading villains encounter a brunette named Nancy with major final girl energy, determined to uncover the mystery and go out swinging.
I see you've been looking for me, Nancy. You were so close to the truth.
Vecna's lair in the Upside Down has the same red and foggy atmosphere as Freddy's boiler room. Then there's Chrissy's horrific death on the ceiling of Eddie's trailer, which is very much like Tina's demise in the first Nightmare film. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.